and it would not blow cold, so we tore apart. We were able to actually fix the female receptacle part. We were actually able to fix the female receptacle. Let's try again. So we were actually able to fix the female receptacle. So we were actually able to fix. We're actually able to female.
Sessions over there for sure. It's gonna be a tricky one. Very fast. It's getting bumpy. Some soft spots out there.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It is 11:21 on the sprocket clock, and it is May 25th, the beginning of Memorial Day weekend. It is Saturday. We're back in the garage working on the waste tire hauler trailer. I made another run with it after fixing the rear rails, making them straight. You can see how we were able to stack them in a pyramid instead of straight up, where we had to do as those were tapered before. So today, my ultimate goal is to put a ramp on the back and build walls all the way around it so we can stack tires higher, all the way to the outside of the width of the trailer instead of having to lean them in like this, where we're losing a lot of valuable space. That's a big project for me. As you guys all know, I'm a beginner welder, but I think it's going to be good because when I go to put that new axle on the 4x8 trailer, I'm going to have to do spring hangers and all that stuff welded to the frame. I think my confidence level and my ability will rise through this experience with the trailer. So with that said, we're going to build the ramp today, the back gate. So I have a couple decisions to make. Most of these ramp gates are held on by like a pin hinge, like a 1/2 inch bolt through some pipe, and they weld it to the frame and they weld it to the gate and they put the pins in there. I don't know if I want to go that far. I'm looking to maybe just set it in the existing ramp rails and then somehow latch it to the vertical pieces of steel off the back, and that way I can drop it down and use it, or I could take it off if I want to. So we'll see how that's going to go. I do have to build it heavy enough to allow me to load a razor onto it, so in the future when we get one I can use that trailer if I need to. But I do want to make it light enough so we can pick it up and take it off, because a lot of those ramp gates weigh 300-400 pounds. So that's what we're going to try to do today. In the meantime, real quick, just an update on the dirt bike that I bought, and then you guys saw me refresh the whole thing, tear it apart. I did finally find a sticker kit for it. It was an aftermarket sticker kit, a little bright for my taste, but it makes the bike look newer. And then I did some cool things like some rim decals and stuff like that. So if you look at these pictures, it really looks updated and a lot cleaner. And I was able to find some plastics, some stock plastics that were still decent on eBay, and I've just ordered a couple of each, and I'm keeping those in case I bounce this thing off the ground a few times and have to replace something that's not made anymore. So I've got those, and then incidentally I went on another ride a few weeks ago at my brother's out in Pahrump, and I didn't bring my GoPro. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to get away and relax. But man, this was such a fun ride. And there was so much cool stuff I could have videoed. I should have brought the GoPro. I'm going to remember that next time. I mean, we met up with a guy out in the middle of nowhere. We rode with him for a while. He showed us some cool stuff. Went through this wash where these huge boulders, like 50 feet tall, get down to like 3 feet wide. And we're going through them in our dirt bikes. And then we got to this ridge where we had to get up and over. And both me and my brother completely crashed going up it. It just would have been a great video. So I'm sorry I didn't bring my camera. Next time I will. Anyway, it was a great time to get out there. It rained all day till 2 o'clock, and we rode from 3 till dark. Enough talking. Back to work. Yeah, baby. All right, got our cordless station here. All my pneumatics will be in there. We'll do the electric here. So this was my original intention. I built that temporarily out of scrap wood, if you remember. But this is my original intention, was to get this side box and put it here, but nobody had it for a long time. It finally came in. So yeah, take mom to a concert, get a toolbox. Here's where we're at. I've decided to cut this flush with this. So when you shut the gate, this is where we're going to have to latch it. So the first thing I have to do is cut these ends off on both sides. there's number 2. Now you can see there's an issue. Look at, there's no weld in here or even here. So this will give me an opportunity to grind all this back down, and then I'll re-weld all this and then polish it up. Maybe I'll weld it from the back first, but it's definitely not as strong as the other one, so we'll get this fixed up too. What do you think?
Looks pretty good.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah.
A lot of work. Hope my neighbors don't hate me. All right, so we got her cut down pretty good and then just kind of cleaned up the sides there, but that's about as much as I want to take off. Not too shabby. Nice. Nice. That's perfect. Hooey. I just gotta fill that little gap in right there.
Oh yeah.
So don't watch. Now that'll give us something to grind off. All right, so we have this one welded, that gap filled in and then sanded down smooth. As you saw there, I also welded the back side too. And then I went ahead and welded the back side of this one. So these two sides are prepped and ready to accept any kind of latch system for the gate. Since I'm not going to use that pin hitch that we talked about, the gate is going to rest in here and get secured here. I can't use a drop pin because if the gate bounces up, the pin will slide up, so I have to figure something out for here.
What about a side pin?
What?
And then lock it.
What? What are you talking? How would you figure that out already?
I'm just saying, because a side pin and a lock, even though you go over bump, it would still slide out, but if you locked it.
Like we do with the trailer hitch?
Yeah.
You're pretty smart, dude. I don't know where you learn all this stuff. At least from your mama.
TV.
So I may end up, I'm going to try to end it, it'll rest in here, and then when I drop it back, it'll be hooked in here using this. So if the gate is built like this, and I have a support post here on the gate and a support post here, it'll allow this to rest. Once we drop the gate like this, it'll allow it to rest in here, like the ramps did originally. So that's my thought process. We'll see how this really goes. All right, so I went ahead and bought the perimeter part of the gate. These would be the inner spars of the gate. Originally I thought I'd make it with 1 inch, but I laid a piece of 1 inch down and I stood on it, and it bends a lot. So I'm gonna go with the 2 inch or the 1.5 inch, which will line up perfectly inside of these. So this will be the perimeter, and these will be the supports going up and down, and of course they got to go on either side of these so that I can hook the gate when I drop it. So I've determined that we're going to make the gate 5 feet tall, and of course as wide as it needs to be. And then after I learned that expanded metal is 4x8 sheet, this is already a foot tall. I'm going to make 4 foot by 8 foot panels, 2 on each side because it's 16 feet. And then I'll see if I need to put the mesh. I have to decide if I'm going to use that expanded metal or enough supports to keep the tires in. But of course I don't want it flimsy, but I don't want the tires falling out, but I want it as light as I can get it. So those panels are going to be after I get this gate built. So now I'm just going to start measuring, and I'm going to start cutting the perimeter of the gate, which is going to be, of course, again 5 by 5 feet tall by whatever wide to line up perfectly here when it's closed. So if I weld this thing here and the gate comes up like this, we can get something through here. We could do that pin thing through the side like my kid was talking about. Or even we could drill a hole down low and a hole in the middle and just do a couple big carabiners that clip through. I mean, it's going to be a lot of slack there, but I think it'll be and noisy, but I think it'll stay. We'll have to see here. Alright, so what I'm learning here is when I go to make this gate, if you just drop this in here, it's going to go flush on one side, but it's not going to go flush on the bottom because this metal here won't go deep enough into that corner. So what I figured out was I just shaved off. See how I shaved off that corner? So now when you drop it in there, see how tight it fits now? All the way around. It's going to make for better welds on both sides. So I'm figuring out how to get these corners square, and I think I figured it out. Alright, so I got it mocked up. That's what the gate's gonna look like. Probably gonna call it for tonight. So I got a couple hours left to hang out with the family. But tomorrow we'll cut the middle pieces. We'll start welding this thing together and see how she feels. Step on her and see how she works. So we'll be back tomorrow and keep her going. How's it going?
Going, sir. How are you?
Good.